everyone, I'm Sherry. This is Lessons Learned. Welcome to Monday Quilt Chat, where I talk about all the quilty things going on here in my world and in the quilt world in general. So today we're just going to have a little chat about a lot of different things, just kind of a variety show. So just continue sewing on. If you're in your sewing room, you can just listen. Occasionally I'll have something to show on the screen you can take a gander at, but for the most part you can just sit and listen, drink your coffee, your tea, take a break from your work, whatever it is you're able to do right now to enjoy this episode of Monday Quilt Chat. I have several things today that I can share with you. I have a American Quilter magazine. It's packed. It is plumb full of information. I have updates about my sewing room. I have recent acquisitions, so on and so forth. So Friday we left you with the quilt show on Finish It Friday. If you don't watch Friday's show, be sure and turn your notifications bell on so that you will be reminded of all the videos that I put out each week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So worth a watch if you want to make sure you don't miss an episode of any of those three. Make sure you're subscribed and the notifications bell is black. Alright, so I left you on Friday. I kind of went on a little tangent there, didn't I? Well, I have to remember to say those things because many times I forget to say them, and if you don't say them, it doesn't happen. So I had to throw that in there. But I left you with that episode, and I was talking to you about changing some things around here in my room. And if you notice, I have done that. Now, I'm not going to give you a tour at the moment because I'm not completely done, and I've got some other things that are going to happen here, and I want to show you that on a Wednesday. So be sure and come back on Wednesday to see a tour of my somewhat updated rearrangement here in my sewing room, and some other new additions and so on. So I moved some things around. I got the table that was right here, way back there, and you know, I used to sit way back there, so my table for sewing, my sewing machine is right here, and so that is pushed forward, and Blue is under the table over there. There he is. Hey, Blue. Blue. There he is. So I still need to wash his little blanket that I spilled Coke on the other day. But he doesn't mind just a plain bean bag. Yeah, he's good with it. So he's under there, and I've got tons of room to move around back here. I was so cramped, and you know, I was bumping into things, and so I moved the little unit that was behind back there with the drawers. It's right here now, and then I have pushed the ironing table over more towards where the fabric is, and I just have way more room. And it's funny how you can find a room without really taking anything out of a room, and that's kind of what happened. Of course, it also led me into cleaning baseboards, cleaning windows. I went inside and out to clean the windows, and you know, it ended up being an all afternoon affair, and I'm so slow at everything and take lots of breaks. So it took me a good while, and I'm still not completely finished, but I'm going to get it finished today and probably go ahead and film Wednesday's video covering some of the things that I've done here. Like I said, an updated tour. I've got something I'm going to do with my sewing or my ironing table, and some other things that are going to happen. So that's enough for a video that I will make today and have ready for you on Wednesday. That's pretty much all I did, other than I did make it to the Kentucky State Fair Saturday afternoon early. That's the first thing we did in the afternoon on Saturday, and then when we got back is when I started on this room. So I haven't done, this is Sunday for me, and I haven't done anything in here today, so I did not get any sewing done this weekend, and that's okay. I don't really have anything pressing in on me other than I'm 2 blockheads behind now. So I'm hoping if I get my video put together here on Monday for Wednesday, I can spend the whole week working on blockheads, because I got to get those 2 done, and they're not real fast blocks, and there will be another one on Wednesday. So if I can get caught up with that, that would be great. My designer mystery block is on its way as well. I'm not sure which day it's going to get here, but I probably won't be working on that this week. If it did come, maybe the next. I don't think I have anything else really pressing in on me to keep up with sewing. So dropping the quilts off was not anything huge. I had to go through 2 or 3 different sets of people before I finally turned them over, but I wanted to show you again, and as a reminder, and some of you maybe weren't even subscribed to the channel when I made these quilts last year. Of course, I just finished them this year with the binding and everything, but I'll show you pictures here of those. The black one with all the applique is called Happy Days, and that was a block of the month with Stitch in Heaven, and it took me forever. The other one is my most favorite quilt I've ever made, and it is, I call it Anne of Green Gables, but it's made with a pattern called Letters Home. And yeah, Riley Blake Anne of Green Gables fabrics in that. So I just kind of arranged those all in a way that I liked and used that pattern for it. So those 2 quilts are at the fair this week. The fair starts August the 14th. That's Thursday. So I can go at that point and see my quilts hanging in there. I may go Friday so that I could spend a little more time there. My time is kind of limited on Thursdays, but on Friday I can go and see the quilts hanging, as well as everybody else's quilts and other things I might want to see at the fair. So hopefully it's a good weather day, and I can get over there and do that. So I'll let you know how that turned out next week. I do want to mention, though, that Mark put out a new scrappy pattern, a free pattern that you can download, print off, whatever, and make at your leisure. So he designed this pattern and made a video on it, and the video is doing very well. He did end up getting monetized as well, so this will be the first official video that will actually get paid for. So he's excited about that, even though it's not much, you know, but it's just getting to that point. Once you get to that point, it makes all the free work that you've done worth it eventually. So I don't know how many more how often he'll be able to make videos. He's in the process of changing jobs, and right now he has a lot of time, extra time, but I don't know if in some future time, you know, he'll be limited on time for videos. But I told him, I said, well, just keep doing them like you are. They seem to have liked the last 2 really well, which were basically from beginning to end video. And while right now he has a lot of time where he can, you know, make a quilt in a week or 10 days, he may not have that kind of time in the future. It might be a little bit fewer and far between, I guess you could say, but we'll see how it goes. But he's excited about that, so thanks to all of you who have subscribed and watched the videos. Things are going well for him right now on that, and he's very happy about it, and thankful to all of you for it as well. So there's that. I'll put a link, well, there's always a link to his channel in my description box. So if you go to that link, then it'll list all of his videos, and probably the most recent one will be up at the upper left if it didn't show up in your recommended videos on YouTube. So that's that. Let's see, what else did I want to mention? I have a few recent acquisitions. Haven't had any of those for a while, have we? I did have a friend that sent me a couple of kits that she wanted to share with me. I did not bring those up here, but maybe at a future time I'll show you those. They're still in the house. I just couldn't load everything up all at the same time. So I brought you the new things that I have that I ordered myself. There's another thing I want to point out first, though. I just looked that way and saw it. The auctions are over, so congratulations to Lisa, who won the quilt, the Humane Society donation quilt that I made for a challenge. And she's going to be getting that really soon. And then also Diane won the fabric bundle of the colorful fabrics that I had left over from it, plus some other fat quarters. And those will be getting sent out this week too. So tell Diane and Lisa congratulations in the comments if you would like to. Now, recent acquisitions. Thank you to everyone who bid on those items. Appreciate it very much. And it worked out really well. So, I don't know if last month I showed you the blue eclectic elements, but I'm just going to show it to you really quick. I think I did. I think I remember these. And I think they're eggs. Yeah, I think they're eggs. But this was the blue bundle. I'm pretty sure I showed it to you. But here is the indigo bundle that was for July, I guess. Or is it August? I don't know. Now, indigo is a little bit more purple than the blue, but it is blue. I got this one from Villa Rosa Designs, so it is not packaged up like this one was, but that's okay. And that's another thing that I did this weekend. I got another clear drawer bin for all my Tim Holtz Eclectic Elements palettes. These. So those are all in one place now. So let me just go through the indigo with you. Here are the stamps. Yeah, indigo is just a little more purpley than a regular blue. Here is a ABC 123. Now that one's really dark. Here is a journal page. Kind of reminds me of what is that thing that you have when you board a ship? Manifesto? Yeah, it kind of looks like a manifesto, or maybe could be a census record, but I love the handwriting on there, don't you? Here, let me show you. Look at the handwriting. Love that. And then this one. And then here's the collage one. Let me open this one. These ones I really like. They've got photos on them. All kinds of little signs and labels, things like that. The map, because there's always a map. This one, let me see if I can figure out. Oh, it's Manhattan. Manhattan, City of New York. And then we have a blue, kind of a garland like floral. That's pretty. Here are the tickets. Ticket stubs. Here's another floral. It's pretty. And then there's this one. Just kind of leather looking. So that is indigo. I think we have 3 more in this eclectic palette. And then we'll have to think of something to do. I have a little bit of an idea of something that I want to do with these. It's super simple. So if you've been collecting these like I have, then you might want to stick around for the pattern that I want to use with these later when I get them all. This is from a Villa Rosa. They're a little bit no fuss, they just cut it and send it, right? So you're not going to get this bundle thing like this, but they have it pretty inexpensively, like maybe $3 to $5 less per bundle, and there's no shipping from Villa Rosa, which I don't know how they do that, but they do. So Villa Rosa Designs, they're the ones that have the little cards for patterns, those little postcards for patterns that are like $2 or something. That's the same place. So they sell fabric, so go looking if you want to. Now, here's something kind of different. And this will go with my Wednesday video. You'll be seeing this again. What is this? This is fabric for your ironing board. So I have a 2x4, like 24 by 48, sitting attached to 2 rolling cabinets. And mine desperately needs to be changed. Right now I just have some fabric on there that didn't really, I mean, it's been on there for a long time, but it didn't really wear really well. It didn't, you know, an ironing board cover, you know, it has this stuff in it, and it just kind of holds the heat a little better, and so on and so forth. I'm thinking about making, putting on another layer of batting on top of what I have there now, and then this, and then I think I'll have a really nice top for my ironing board. So Wednesday's video is going to be all about me installing this, the new iron that I got. I'm going to talk about irons. Yes, I am. Irons have been a bone of contention for, and maybe they are for you too, forever and a day that I can remember. I have yet to find a good iron, but we're going to talk about that. I don't want to talk too much about that. This came from Fields Fabrics, and it was $12.97 a yard, and it's 60 inches wide. It's pretty inexpensive. What happened was I went on Amazon looking, and I found this, and it was a Fields Fabrics shop on Amazon, but it was more on Amazon than it was just to go straight to their shop. So that's kind of a little tip too. If you see something on Amazon, and no matter what you're buying, if you see something on Amazon and there's another shop name within there, go to that and you might actually find it cheaper. Now, yes, I did have to pay shipping, so maybe that didn't make it all that much cheaper, but you know, they had a shipping threshold, so if you went in and bought some other things, you could probably get free shipping. I don't know, but anyway, I bought it. I got it from them specifically, and so we'll see how that does. So sampler box, I'm sure you've seen the So sampler box by now. I've already showed you my block for the flowering sew along. I showed you that on Friday, didn't I? So it's Summer Love, and the coupon is 15% off Aurifil thread, which reminds me, I need to get some of that Aurifil 12 weight for my Cherrywood Challenge project that I need to get started on. So I might use that coupon for this. And then there's also another little free pattern you can use for the fabric that they sent, which is the Curator Romantica. And I'm sure you've seen it. I'm not going to open it, but it's very, very soft teals, mint, pink, 2 or 3 shades of pink on like an ivory background. So it's very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. Here is the pattern called Serenade that you could make it up in. And you would also need 2.5 yards of background, 1 1/4 yards of an accent, and a 5/8 yard of binding for this pattern. So that is a project. I don't know that I'm going to use this. I might. You never know. Haven't done a whole lot of those projects, but it is what it is. So we have more Wonder Clips. These ones are by Clover, and it says great holding capacity for many crafts, has a wide opening, a guide scale, and a flat back. There's 10 of them. They look like they might be a little bit smaller than the ones that I have. Let me open and see, and we will compare. How about that? good time as any to do that. Yeah, they look about the same. Let me check it out. This is Clover. This is Amazon. They are strong, but it could be because I've used these already. But size-wise, I believe they are the exact same. So, I'll let you decide on that, whether you want to keep these separate from your other ones or throw them in with all the rest. I think I would probably throw them in with all the rest. I don't really see that there's any structural difference to them whatsoever. There's some kind of marking on it, but I can't see it anyway, so I probably will just put those right down in there. Orifil thread. This is the color 6722. Let's see what that is. It's also kind of an ivory, goes well for the fabric. It is called Seabiscuit 6722. Seabiscuit. We also have a Pilot erasable pen, and I saw somebody trying to use this part to erase and they couldn't get it to erase, but I actually did. So it's friction, so heat or friction will make it disappear. It is a dark tip, and it is by Frixion, Pilot Frixion erasable. So I did get it to erase with this by using that. So Summer Love. And let's see if there's anything else I missed on here. This is a $1.98 value. This is $13.98. The clips are $6.98. The pattern is $9.98, and the fabric is valued at $29.48. So you always get, you know, a good amount of product in the Sew Sampler box. So I am happy with all of that. And I think that's all my recent acquisitions that I had. So yeah, let's go ahead and look into this magazine. This is the American Quilter, which comes from the American Quilt Society. If you're a member, you get 6 of these per year. So this is going to have a lot of fall quilts in it from the way it looks. As a matter of fact, that is a pattern right there that's in here, a free pattern. Lots of free patterns in here. I'm not affiliated with American Quilter other than I have my own membership, and I think they are a great, classy organization, and I like to support them if I can, because they're the ones that put out the Paducah Quilt Show and all the other big quilt shows around the United States. A couple things I wanted to show you here that I found. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I can't really get to all of it here, but a couple things. Here's the one on the cover. That's pretty, isn't it? Just a fall themed quilt. And it looks like it makes a 49.5 by 52.25 sized square quilt, almost square, and the skill level is easy. You can also shop at AmericanQuilter.com. They do have fabric. So there's some fat quarter bundles that they're advertising right now. If you're a member, you get a lower price. Here is an article that was interesting, and I haven't read all of it yet, but I picked out some points. But it's called Reclaiming Quilts, Preparing a Vintage Quilt for Garment Making. And so that happens sometimes, doesn't it? Somebody will bring us an older quilt and say, can you fix this quilt? I'd like to make a coat out of it or whatever. Or maybe just fix it, but maybe it has stains on it, maybe it has holes in it, whatever. And they think that, you know, you can make that all new again, which to some extent you can extend the life of it, right? But it's talking about using it for garment making and cleaning it, different ways to clean it and get the stains and the odors out, but then also repairing a reclaimed quilt. And that's the part that caught my attention. It says once you have it clean, it's time to repair. And it talks about some different ways to do that. And it says, we love the look of hand mending and using embroidery floss to create X stitches over worn or ripped areas to add another layer of beauty to a quilted garment. So if you just have one little hole, you might just want to do a little cross stitch over that. And then also it says to, depending on the amount of damage, your time and patience level, machine mending might be a better option for you. To machine mend, set your sewing machine to a zigzag stitch and sew back and forth a few times on the ripped or thinned area to reinforce. Makes sense, doesn't it? Just the zigzag stitch going over and over. You can't really hardly, rip that out. You would go beyond the borders of the tear, of course, and then that would totally stabilize that thin area or missing area. So that's a good thing to do. It says then add a 1/4 inch border around the tracing. Oh no, this is the applique. Then it says, another way to repair thin or missing fabric areas is to applique, yes, stitching a new fabric piece in the same shape over the damaged section. And it says to create your applique piece, place tracing paper over the area you want to cover and trace its shape. Then add a 1/4 inch border around it and cut around the outer line. Use this template to trace and cut a piece of fabric to applique over the damaged area. So instead of putting a whole different applique on there, like a, something, like a flower or something that's already made into an applique, and you just want to stick that on there, you could do that. But what it's suggesting is just get the shape of the piece where the fabric is missing, make a template, cut out the fabric, and then applique over top of that. So that kind of makes sense too, because unconstructing the quilt and trying to do those 1/4 inch seams again and get them going again, sometimes it's not there. So, why not just make a square or a strip or a diamond shape, whatever the shape is that's missing, just get a similar fabric and trace that design and applique it right down on top of the quilt. So yeah, it's going to show through the back as a shape, but you're trying to give the quilt some more life. So if that's the only way you're going to be able to do it, you will have to sacrifice the fact that that's going to show on the back. We want the front to look good, right? So at this point you can't worry too much about the back. It could be possible that you could hand sew it and miss going through the back and get it attached to the quilt that remains around that spot. I don't know. It just depends on how delicate that quilt is at this point. It says next, fold the edges of the replacement fabric shape under by a 1/4 inch and press, and then you have that piece that matches that area. Pin it, and then it says to secure it to the quilt with hand or machine stitching. So there again, kind of what I already mentioned. If you did it by hand, you might be able to keep from having to go through the back of the quilt, but machine stitching definitely is going to. And then it says you're ready to make your garment out of it. So fixing those pieces first is key, which I didn't really think about that. I thought probably you would just cut out your pieces and then whatever the bad spots landed in, then you would correct them then, but it's saying to do it now. Makes sense. I'd say it makes sense. Here's another free pattern called Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Got some friendship stars on there. Indigo cloth. Talking about indigo with the Tim Holtz. This is talking about real indigo cloth and where it originated in South Africa. A whole article on that. I want to read that. Here's a quilt that's made for the length of a door. You could do it on a window or a door, it said. And there's a template for this. And this is actually on the outside of the door. Interesting idea. This is 23 by 60. And it's just kind of a, I don't know what you would call it, kind of a gem shape template that you use to put those together, and it shows you how to efficiently sew those pieces together. You have a diamond shape, and then you also have this shape right here. Here's how it shows you how to do those, how to put those together. Okay, there's an article about Carolina Oneto, a modern quilter in Latin America. And she looks like she does a lot of modern quilting. So you can see her color theory there, how that is really what is making the quilt shine and a work of art. It's not the complexity of the pattern. It's what she did with the color. And then also the quilting. And that is not hard quilting. You just go back and forth with some wavy stitches. And you've got yourself a very effective quilt texture there. Clue number 4 of 5 of the mystery quilt in the magazine is here. And yeah, it's an article on watercolor. Here's another free pattern. This is called Easy Peasy Posies. Looks easy enough, kind of like a potato chip block. It's called skill level is easy on this one. I wonder how many colors do you need? You need 1 yard of red, aqua, and dark pink solids. So it's like a 3-color quilt. Easy peasy posies. There is a Threaducation 101 where they always talk about threads and thread weights and things like that. I need to read this because of the Cherrywood Challenge quilt that I want to do. I'll probably have to do quite a bit of hand embroidery on that and or machine quilting on it. So lots of good information. Ghost quilting, enhancing quilts with the subtlety of ghost quilting. It's kind of like a design that just kind of looks a little shadowy that you use. Gives a cool textural effect. And I think, oh, here is a quilt that was hanging in the Paducah show this year called Retro Living, 91 by 66 by Tammy Graber. It's very retro. Retro Living. This is so good. Love that. Look at all the detail. Look at the television. The peacock. Was it the NBC pink peacock or the CBS NBC peacock, wasn't it? And then look at the atomic clock and the light fixture, the coloring of everything. That's so cool. Now that makes me get in the mood to do that Cherrywood Challenge thing, even though it's about something totally different. It's just so neat to put all these little details in a small quilt. Love that. Okay, so that's the magazine, American Quilter, and it is the, if you're looking for one, September 2025. Well, we're in August, so here comes fall, isn't it? We had some fall days here, not this past week, but the week before. This past week wasn't as blistering hot as it had been before, but it was warm again this week. So yeah, fall is coming, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm trying to think, did I show that one? I did. Did I show this one? Yes. You know how I got out of order last week, so let's get back in order. Yay. This is called Flower Power Fiesta. I'll put it right here. It is 87 by 87 by Carmen Nordbach of Fargo, North Dakota. It says, making this quilt provided some fun for Carmen. The center pattern was created by Jane Zilmer, and Carmen designed the border so the quilt would have a little spark. The colors Carmen used aren't in her usual color palette, but they did provide some freedom and fun. Quilted by Becky Leach, this quilt has been shown in the Quilt Expo of Madison, Wisconsin, and won awards in the Metro Quilt Expo of Fargo, North Dakota, Minnesota Quilt Show, St. Cloud, Minnesota, and the Pacific International Quilt Festival, Santa Clara, California. So this was a color palette out of her normal, and it definitely would be for me as well, those dark colors. And of course I like the greens, and the applique in the border is right up my alley, but the deep purples that are in there would be something kind of new for me too, but it really turned out very elegant, I think. And I think this method of applique with the modern looking flowers is very elegant. So therefore the tiny strips between the diamond shapes. And you know, this is just a basket or flower pot is a pattern that we see all the time in quilting, but when you turn it upright, it gives you a whole nother perspective on the subject matter of the quilt. It definitely is a flower basket or a flower pot. So very nice. We will be having some applique kind of like this on our Garden Charms quilt later on, but don't be intimidated. It's not that hard. We can make it look good. But that's what really made this quilt, wasn't it? Putting that border on there like that, it just pulled everything together from inside the baskets. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, so I got to get ready to make a video for Wednesday for you on this room and my ironing board and my iron and other little things I did. It's not been that long ago that I did a room tour. Maybe earlier in the year I did, or maybe late last year. I can't remember. I don't remember. But I moved some things around. So let's do another little tour, and we will get that to you on Wednesday. Also, as for sewing goes, I'm going to get those blockheads out and get caught up because I don't have anything else in the queue that I have to do this week. I kind of feel like I have to do those. So I'm going to get that under my belt. Maybe by Friday I'll have 3 blockheads blocks to show you. That might be all of what I do this week on sewing, but that's okay. That'll get me caught up, and I'll feel really good about it. So I hope you get caught up on something today too. Tell me down below what it is that you're a little behind on, that you want to maybe get up to date on this week. I'd be curious to know. All right, congratulations again to Lisa for winning the quilt and Diane for winning the fabric bundle. And we'll have another Blues Batik auction here before long. I need to make one up, don't I? I need to make one of those batik ones up because I have plenty of work from you guys to do it with. All right, have a great week and keep things moving, and I will see you back here on Wednesday. Bye.